All right, guys, everybody's implementing AI and most people are doing it wrong. So in this session, Andrea and we're going to share with you how you actually get the fastest ROI when you implement AI, because it's such a powerful tool that you can do anything with it, and that's what mostly happens. You build things because you can build them. Maybe that's not the right way. Maybe there is a better way. Let's explore. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you. How are you today, Simon?
I'm excited. And you're implementing a ton, we're implementing a ton. What are you seeing that's actually a fast ROI way to do it?
Small projects. So everyone is so excited about AI, and they should be excited about AI. There's a lot to be excited about. Oh my gosh, Simon, reining in our customers who want to do AI everything all over the business. We love the enthusiasm, but that's a really good way to waste a lot of money fast. There have already been billions of investment in AI across the business sector, and the data shows that massive AI implementations are actually a trap. So at this point, 95% of custom AI initiatives fail to deliver. I mean, not just fail to deliver zero measurable return, and they never make it into production because people start too big. So our first advice for implementing AI is to pick one small project, gate it with like dollars and time. So the projects that are returning investment are $15,000 and under projects. That's tiny in business terms. And that's not just $15,000 on spending some money on an AI. That includes your time and the value of like either your personal time, your staff time, but $15,000 and under projects are delivering ROI. So that's my first tip is start small.
I love this. And we do it similarly. We say one workflow after the other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also a constraint, like a project, but it's an end-to-end business activity. For example, it can be content creation for marketing, or it can be the first part of the sales, which is from stranger to starting a conversation to booking a call, or the second
Mm-hmm.
part from initial call to actually closing, and in between sending an offer that can be signed. We pick one of those. It must be one workflow, and it must be around a current priority that's painfully hard to do, but it's so important that you have to do it, you want to do it. So I have this very boring thing in front of me for people listening. I'm showing my own habits tracker. It's May, and so we can look at today's day, the 4 things that Simon has committed to, because they move his business forward if he does them every day, and they are in written, can't change them. And then there is a streak, a visualized streak or absence of streaks. Did he actually do it? So I committed to these top 4. Am I doing them or not? This is so boring. Many teams say, no, Simon, I came to you for the latest AI super tricks. And I say, yeah, wonderful. You will get there with me if you do the foundations first, because AI is a jetpack on top of the right foundations. So if we have the right sales processes, we can accelerate them. But if you don't have sales processes, I'm not accelerating anything that's wrong.
No, in fact, automating a flawed process just breaks things faster. So very much we say the same thing. So with our clients, we say, look, if we misdiagnose your problem as a technology gap, um, it's rarely a technology gap. It's almost always either a clarity or a discipline problem. And clarity in the process, like what is the right process for the examples you were just giving, Simon, have to do with managing your sales pipeline. If your sales process is fundamentally broken, or if your data is disorganized, then adding AI just helps you do the wrong thing faster. So before touching, so you start small, you identify where your main problem is, the biggest pain point for you, And then before you touch a single AI tool, you don't even get to ask Claude a question yet. The first thing you do is a friction mapping exercise. So you look at that part of the sales process, for instance, from, as Simon said, from entry and engagement to decision and follow through. And then you identify where things slow down, where the ball tends to get dropped, where you realize you should be moving people faster to close, but they're getting stuck. You have to understand that process before you can automate any part of it. You can ask AI questions in that process, but honestly, your processes are part of your differentiation, which is part of your competitive advantage. So you want to make sure you're using good disciplinary process, but you also want to think about it in the context of your own business and not just adopt some other business's sales pipeline management approach, because it won't be true to your brand. So that's our next one as well. Don't automate a flawed process. Fix the process steps after identifying where your priorities are.
We have already 2 points. You had a next one ready to go, I think.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing that we think about a lot is what AI's role is in the process. So your AI agents should be doing your prep for you, but AI agents aren't good at persuading. So your humans have to do the persuasion. So you don't want to replace your salesperson. If you're the salesperson and you're hoping you can replace yourself, you can, but it's by hiring another human who's better at it than you are. But you can't hand off the selling and the persuasion to an AI agent. So the goal is to remove the like the low cognitive load work, the administrative work, the number crunching work, the remembering what happened in your last few conversations work. And Simon and I talked about both those 2 points in the last 2 sessions we did together. So you might want to review those. And your process, when you use AI just to take that low cognitive load work off your table, is that you then get to focus on judgment and interpretations and building the relationship and being really present in those phone calls or meetings. So that's the other thing, is you want to pick a project where you've got administrative or low cognitive load work that you can hand off to the AI agent that makes you better at being present with your customers.
I had an example this week, actually. I started yesterday recording my first audiobook ever. And the reason why it's the first audiobook ever, it seemed always too daunting to me, so many moving parts. I don't even want to start this project. 100 little questions. Should I record in a studio or here with an editor, or who should be the editor? All this kind of, it's a complicated setup where I from the beginning said, no, it's not worth it. Sounds like a month of work, not worth it. But it's an example of something that I felt is the right thing to do, because my people are listeners. They're busy entrepreneurs. They don't have time to read. They like reading, but I stopped reading 10 years ago because they don't have time.
Or they need to multitask when they're reading.
Yes.
Yep.
So they're listening to audiobooks and to podcasts about what they need to know to get either briefed or to break through business problems.
Yep.
So they need exactly my audiobook in audio form. That's exactly what they need. 2-3 hours, and they can listen to it while commuting, while working out, while cooking. So it was the right thing to do, but I postponed it because of friction.
Mm-hmm.
Now that AI is in here and we have 122 helpers, I just said, guys, help me. What if you would know how to do this? How would you do this? And they broke it down. They went out and researched. They explained everything. Yes, it's still a bigger project, but hey, in 3 weeks, I'm done. I started yesterday. In 3 weeks, I'm done. I spent $0 so far. 0. And you know that many people spend like 30K, 50K,
A lot of money producing
60K.
their audiobooks. Yep.
Yes. I spent $0. I started yesterday. I will be done in 3 weeks. We publish it in September. Things that were a lot of moving parts are not anymore because the agents coordinate all of that. I just speak into a microphone.
You
That's
still have to remove all the ums.
an
I always
editor
do.
an
And AI can do
editor
that.
will remove the ums,
We'll
and
remove the
they sourced 5 possible editors. They pitched them against each other. They decided and they booked.
Mhm. Yep. And it's a great way to take something that you're not sure how to do, that there is a playbook for how to do it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know how to do, but they are done a certain way in the rest of the world. And they don't have to do with our competitive advantage. I mean, producing an audiobook, you're not trying to be an audiobook producer for others. You just need to know what the best practices are of the people who do it every day. And AI is a fabulous tool for sorting that out for you. It's also a fabulous tool in your call prep for learning more about the business of the person you're pitching to. Because if you can understand not just that they need something from you, but the business environment they're operating in, you're going to have a much stronger connection in that call. So you set your AI agents off to do that research. So then that AI project in that case looks like defining a call prep process that AI can do for you. You have to identify the criteria. You have to identify how you want to prepare your playbooks before calls. So you're not looking at notes the whole time, but you're actually present in the call. And that's a fantastic AI project to do to get you ahead of all of the people you're competing against in that sale.
If we think of our clients, where have you seen examples of fast ROI in their processes when implementing AI so far?
The best ones actually have been in the preparation and research necessary to do good sales. That we've speeded up the sales pipeline. We work in a lot of other areas, manufacturing areas, operational areas. We've seen some really solid projects in those as well. But for this audience, better call prep, better objections prep, using AI to prepare sales playbooks. All of those types of projects in the sales process have been really productive, and people find that their sales process goes much better. And for those of you who are selling because you own your business and you need to sell it, and as a business owners, we're always our best salesperson, but we often avoid it or we kind of hate it. And it's because we feel uncomfortable going into the call. Just using AI tools to better prep you for calls lands you in every sales meeting with so much more confidence, and that quiet comfort with the discussion you're about to have comes through. And then that really moves the sale along better. So, and as I said, it allows you to be more present. So yeah, using AI for prep and playbooks has been a winner all the way through. You know what's a loser? Sales outreach bots.
Tell us more.
Well, like right now, sales organizations, and this is everywhere from small business all the way up through enterprise, they're pouring like 50, some say 50%, some say as high as 70% of their AI budgets into these into sales and marketing pilots. Now that makes sense, but they're automating cold outreach and cold outreach chatbots, and they don't work. Like the most visible failures in the AI spectrum are coming from all these cold outreach bots. So they're tone deaf. They're producing tone deaf emails, tone deaf chats. They're hallucinating around pricing. Even when you put the price sheet in there, they're hurting people's brands. So skip the AI cold outreach. Do your own. Build your dream 100, as Chet Holmes would tell you. That's going way back, but it's still totally relevant. Build the list of people you want to sell to. Do thoughtful marketing that bring in qualified contacts. An AI outreach bot may be able to reach out to thousands more prospects than you're able to reach out to right now, but 90% of them will not be qualified. And of the 10% of the prospects that you hit that are qualified, you're going to turn them off. So you're better off reaching out to 10% of the prospects you can do without the AI outreach bot and make a good impression and get some sales. So I would stay away from those sales outreach bots and the companies selling you services with their sales outreach bots.
If I think of our clients, the biggest and fastest ROI has been around CRM and pipeline topics. So, for example, starting a practice of having people using Claude Code to say, who are the 3 people I should follow up with today? Because all our clients, they have limited time per day to do follow-ups. They have also, meetings, events, all sorts of things going on. So it's not net 8-hour sales time. And so if they can get briefed and prioritized, that has been a needle mover because, think of a financial institution with 4,000 clients per month. And you are asking which of these 4,000 current client could I upsell if I call them based on the email correspondence that we had. And you get those 3, you call them, you upsell them. It's an immediate win. It can take a few hours from asking to actually closing. That has been an immediate win. So we are in love with all CRM topics. Then there is smaller teams where we just did cut the CRM subscription because it was a little bit, but first of all, expensive. And second, limiting because their particular workflows weren't perfectly customizable. You always had to call that CRM firm and they would sell you another consulting package. It would take weeks. And so we said, okay, let's keep it all together. What if we can vibe code our own CRM? So we did it with a few smaller clients that are also more technical. We just built with them their vibe coded CRM, and they're having good results with that because it's along their actual workflows. And so people use it more. It's simpler. It's like they think and act. So now
There's a version of that for people who do have a CRM system and don't want to be in the business of maintaining an ongoing development around their own vibe coded CRM. Because remember, what you build, you have to maintain, and it has to keep improving for the future. So a lot of companies are going to say, I don't want to be in the CRM building business. I'm going to use a CRM that somebody else is in the business of maintaining. Now, I'm technology agnostic. We partner with lots of CRM firms. What we see is that most companies don't have their CRM set up correctly for their workflows. And so then the CRM is expensive and unproductive, and you feel like you're working for the CRM instead of the CRM working for you. So an alternative to writing your own is to use an AI tool to help you refine your use of your CRM. So you say, this is the CRM I'm using. These are the way we've got our workflows set up. You have to be really specific in telling it what you've got. Then you say, this is how we do business. And add the links to the CRM's documentation. So you make sure your chatbot or your agent is looking at the most recent version of that, whatever that CRM's documentation is, and then say, based on how I've got my CRM set up and how I actually run my business, how can I refine my CRM? Like, where are the biggest friction points in the way I've got it set up relative to the way I work, and how would I fix it? Now, I'd love it if you'd call me to help you fix your CRM, but a lot of you have a project that really, there's like 2 friction points that would be super easy to fix. And the AI tool can just point them out for you if you give it enough information. That's another way to use a quick win with AI to improve the use of the tool you've got.
Yeah. And if it needs so much attention, maybe it's not a good tool in the first place.
But fair enough. But honestly, there are a lot of great CRM tools. I mean, if you buy a fantastic automobile, I don't care what make it is, and then sometimes you put in high octane and sometimes you put in, the cheapest gas, and then you switch back and forth between the 2 gases, the best car in the world isn't going to work for you. So it's what you put in and how you set it up and how you take care of it depends on its performance.
Yeah. And there are teams that don't want to maintain or optimize CRMs. They just want to know who they call next.
To do the work. Here's another quick ROI win with AI and in the sales process. So for those of you who came from big corporations, maybe you had a sales job or a market development job in a big corporation. Now you're running your own business. You probably miss the fact that you had all these sales enablement materials available to you in that big company. Because what big companies do is they do a fantastic job, most of them, of developing the materials the salespeople need. So when I need sales material version A, I've just got it. I can send it to my customer. Sales material version B, I've got it. I can send it to this customer. So you're sending the right, it might be the same set of like information, same product or same service, but the documentation is a little bit different depending on the client that you're speaking to and what their needs are going to be. You get into your own small business, you don't have time to create the first piece of material most of the time, let alone the 10 versions of that material that would be helpful for you. So you find yourself going into a sales call, having a great conversation. You need to do the follow-up and send them the right materials, but you have another call and another meeting and another call. And now it's 10 o'clock at night and you're trying to remember what you were supposed to send that customer. Having all those sales enablement materials available to you in real time so you can wrap your call, send that follow-up, jump into the next meeting, and that client's not waiting on you, that closes sales faster. AI is a fabulous tool for that. So you have to do the work of creating one really good positioning piece for whatever it is. Say I've got a product or a service. I'm going to come up with one comprehensive, more words than I need, all the positioning information necessary, all the reasons and benefits are in there. And then you go to your AI tool and say, now, here's the holistic document. I want you to create a version of X hundred words for this market or this perspective. I want another version of this many words for this one. I want another version focusing on these points, not those points for this market. And AI can help you distill that into really good sales tools so that you have a whole raft of them available when you're in your sales calls. It's a fast win with AI that it can really transform your sales process.
I love this. We had a ton of cost reductions because things, and basically 80% of what they need to do, they just can do now faster on their own. So that's, if you want, also kind of an ROI, because you put in attention and token usage, you get something back, which is saved time, saved money. That was significant, more than I expected. And since I protect client projects, of course, I share just from my examples, right? An audiobook that would have costed 50K costed 200 a month. These are the micro examples, and you can scale it up to somebody that's selling B2B software. You can imagine the amount of engineers that they would have a year ago doing something, and now it's 1/3 of engineers because half of the code is written by AI now.
I think there's one other really fast ROI you can get with AI, but it's not in the lead to close part of the sales pipeline. Well, I guess it could be. It's in your meeting to follow up workflow, whether that's meeting to follow up inside the sales pipeline or meeting to follow up in the handoff for the onboarding when you've closed the sale. So it can be in both places. If you use an AI tool specifically to handle that meeting to follow up workflow, where it's transcribing the call, it's extracting your action items, it's drafting the follow-up deliverables, it's pulling those sales materials. I just talked about the right version of the sales materials attached to the email. You can claw back 10, 15 hours every week. That's a big deal. But also you won't be dropping the ball, because all of us can think of those sales conversations where we were like, I just haven't done the follow-up yet. And we slow down or lose the sale because somebody else moved faster than us on it. So you have 0 dropped balls in addition to saving all that time. And then you get to spend 100% of your energy on other more valuable things. So that meeting to follow up workflow is a fantastic place to implement AI, even with a purpose-built tool for it.
Yes. Also sending offers. We had some clients that were like hesitant to send an offer if it was
Mhm.
maybe at 70% instead of 85 where they are used to send an offer. And now the last mile basically was leaving a ton of work, of signed deals on the table. Now, with that, we have introduced AI into this. They had to define a template offer, which they used to customize all the time. And so we were glad we had now the chance to create a template offer with them. And then that template offer, just leaving parts that change
Mhm.
and also simplifying the offer. Most of these statement of works that we have seen were far too long,
Go too long.
explaining too much. We made them much shorter. It's one page, $1 number, and then the second page with all the legalese.
Yep.
Because you need it, but nobody's going to read it. So put it in the second page. The first page, one person is going to read it, the purchaser or the owner at the end of all of it. But right now we need page one. And on that page one is actually what happens, what's the transformation, what's the dollar amount. And
Yep.
why should I think that it works and it's the right thing for us right now? Right?
Yep. The faster you can get a quality proposal in front of people, even if it's the wrong one. Even if you're getting a proposal out there to float a proposal so you can get them back into the conversation to engage in the objections and answer the rest of the questions. But the faster you turn that around, the more likely you are to close the sale. It increases your likelihood by something like 22%.
That was our experience. We don't have the exact numbers yet, but we saw, oh, they're sending more at 75% of felt probability. And it's improving the conversation because the other side maybe actually wants to move forward, but there are so many question marks. And now you sending that, you have removed half of their question marks. Now they
Mhm.
have two objections, which is great,
Great.
right? We want objections because
Yes, we
now we know
do.
what we're talking about, right?
Yep.
And they write back, oh no, number 3 and number 5, I see this differently. Wonderful. Let's rework them together. What about Tuesday? And boom, you're in.
Well, and Simon, you and I have talked about this before, maybe in one of these sessions. We build an agent just filled with our proposals, the proposals that we won, the proposals that went to closed lost, where they fell apart in the process. So every single proposal we put out there, we also document what happened with that proposal, what questions remained after we sent it out, what the objections were at that point, why they told us no, why they told us yes. It all goes into the AI agent. And over time, we get smarter and smarter at producing proposals that do the right work. That agent also is super helpful for if you have a complex product or service, it's harder to price. So for those of you who have that, you'll spend an awful lot of time thinking, what if we're wrong? What if this project costs a lot more and I've given a fixed proposal? What if I'm coming in too high or too low? That proposal agent, just spending some money building and some time building that proposal agent gives you a sounding board for some of those questions and a way to explore what the risks are in your proposal. Because sometimes the only reason you didn't get a proposal in front of them is because you don't feel confident about the proposal you put together. And now you're waffling. Now it's taking too long. The longer it takes, the longer it takes. So that's another good ROI project for AI implementation.
And you're right, the offer sending agent alone has been an ROI maker. We don't have the exact numbers yet because we're implementing this only since 4 or 5 months in clients' businesses. But it's a small difference that makes a huge difference.
Huge
If
difference.
your team gets in the mood of quick offer sending, I mean, it changes your team's dynamic. It changes your the willingness on your team side to follow up because it's not that complicated anymore. It's just a click. And in
Mhm.
our case, we have them have in Gmail a draft ready. So the salesperson wakes up in the morning, drinks their coffee, sees already 6 Gmail drafts, and they
Yep.
are 90% there. So you couldn't
Good.
send them directly because that's not, yeah, it still makes mistakes, but it's 90% there. And so you talked about the cognitive load is so much less. You just have to improve the 10%. So you have already a version of something, you refine it, you send it. Feels very different than you have to connect all the dots.
Construct it. Yep. Absolutely. And then remember, when you speed up that process, you speed up your sales velocity, which of course speeds up your cash flow, which of course gives you more cash organically to grow your business. So anything you can do to improve sales velocity, that time lapse between lead and close, is going to help you grow your business faster and more healthily.
And you said it quickly, but let's dive deeper into it because there are many parts in there. After the proposal agent, now your team sends more proposals. Now you can build the sales coach agent, uh,
Right.
who then gives you feedback on those sent proposals and what you get back, and learns week by week. Hey, these kind of proposals, they land better. That kind of proposal lands better. This is a pattern that we found. And so those patterns, they
Yeah.
are gold.
The patterns are gold. So we used to, I have 4 companies underneath this corporate umbrella. And so we have 4 different like paths of products and services that we sell. So I always thought about proposals in terms of the product that we're selling or the service that we're selling. And then I also intersected that with the market, the vertical or the industry that we're selling into. So I had these 2 slices that we thought about for proposals. But there's another slice, which is what's the psychology of the customer. And now we know that we've got it down to like 4 different psychologies of buyer. I mean, there's all, they're not 4 exactly the same type of people, but 4 characters that largely define the buying universe. Now I can use that information as well. So we've got what we're selling, the market that we're selling into, and then which character type is this buyer. And that has helped us refine our proposals dramatically.
It changes
And
the
this is
proposal
the power.
based on the buyer psychology. Nice.
Because different people buy in different ways. There is a person, there is a character type that likes the 10-page proposal and in fact requires it. But if you give the 10-page proposal to your type A executive that's a skimmer, you've lost it. He's not reading anything, right? So so you want to give the right proposal to the person based on their character type too. And those patterns emerged as we built that agent out over the years because we've been building, I think we started building our internal proposal agent probably 4 years ago. And at that time, we backloaded a lot of proposals into it from before we built the agent. So the more data you get into your proposal agent, the more patterns emerge, the more you can refine your process. It just gets better with time. But it's not too late to start today because 2 years from now, the time's going to go by anyway. So would you rather have 2 years go by with a proposal agent building knowledge or be in the same position you're in now?
If people are on the fence, because of course AI is not perfect yet, and they go, let me be, number one, let everybody find it out. And then when there is something that works, I'm gonna enter the AI game. What would you tell them?
You need to start. But again, give yourself permission to start small and ignore all the noise out there. Okay. Everybody's out there on every possible social media channel talking about how they've transformed their business with AI. You know what? Just like all social media, 90% of it is bunkum. So ignore all that. Think about a business problem you have, implement a small AI project, put your toe in the water and learn. The technology is going to keep changing. You need to get yourself in the water so that you're changing with it. But you don't have to be an AI expert to start playing with the technology. And it's fun. Have fun with it. And when you kind of alleviate that fear. Oh, this is technology. I don't consider myself a techie. No, it's just language. It's just language, or it's just math, or it's just a tool you can talk to help you refine your business processes, which you know your own business processes. So don't let fear get in the way. And, if you don't want anyone to know you're playing with AI until you feel like you've got some skills with it, fine. But start now.
I think the speed at which AI is learning and improving and getting more precise will only accelerate from here.
Exactly.
It's mathematically, objectively clear. I can't imagine it in my linear head because it's an exponential thing, but it's mathematically gonna accelerate. That's what technology does. And
Well,
if I imagine that I hibernate for half a year and then I start using it, I would be shocked. And it's not digestible because there are so many little behaviors change that are happening through this. For example, I stopped typing and I do now dictate most of the day. And this is just one example of how my day changes, my routines change. I have changed some infrastructure pieces. And so I've done infrastructure migrations. And if you do them at the beginning, it's a smaller endeavor than if you do them later on.
exactly.
So many
Yeah.
things will change, not just the AI, but your behavior, the way you work is going to change.
Where you work. And for people who didn't get comfortable with computers 20 years ago, and they're still out there, the learning curve is too big now. They're opting out of learning it at all. The learning curve and the rate of change with AI is going to be 2 times as fast, 4 times as fast. We don't know how much faster, but the rate of change is going to be much faster than just computers for business in general have been in the last several decades. So you do need to start playing with it now so you build up some skills around it. And so as you play with it, you start understanding what people are talking about when they talk about it. Because if you're not in there playing with it, the language doesn't even make sense to you. The examples and references don't make sense. So just go play.
The number of acronyms that I've learned over the last 4 months is huge.
Yep. Yep. And anyone can play with these tools. You do not need to become a technologist to use AI in your business. You do not need to write your own AI platforms to use AI in your business. You just need to figure out where it can do some gap filling and spackling for you to help you stay more competitive, because your competitors are using the tools. And the people who gain competency with these tools will stay competitively ahead of those who don't.
Andrea Hill, everyone, and Simon Severino. If you have any questions, just find us out there in the internet. We're easy to find. It's Andrea Hill, it's Simon Severino. We're happy to answer any questions around AI implementation, sales acceleration that you have. Thank you, Andrea, for doing this, and see you soon.
Thank you.